being in the Olympics was always a big dream. I remember sitting in front of the TV and watching the Olympics in '72 with my dad and saying, I'm going to do that one day. I'm going to be in the Olympics.
Well, welcome everybody. Dr. Ron Oberstein, president of Life Chiropractic College West, and I am excited to have you on this Life West leadership line. Today, I've got a guest that if you don't know him, you've had to have heard of his family. We got Dr. Terry Schroeder. Terry, welcome to the Life West leadership line.
Thank you, Ron. Appreciate being here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'll tell you, I'm excited to dive into this. But let me tell our audience a little bit about you. We had to cut this a little bit short because there's a lot that we can go on. He's a '86 graduate of Palmer West. Been in practice now for 36 years. Met his wife at school, and they've been practicing together for that many years. When he graduated, he went down. He was coaching the Olympic team, or playing on the Olympic team, I should say, of water polo. Terry comes from that background. And he was playing, and he was also practicing. They were practicing around the Westlake Village area of LA. He's just done amazing things in chiropractic. Besides practicing, he's played in a bunch of Olympics, and I'll just kind of read off to you here. He played in the '81. He was on the Olympic team in the 1981. It was boycotted. We boycotted the Olympics, so he wasn't able to play. That was quite a big disappointment for a lot of athletes. You train so hard for 4 years, and I get it. And then '84, he was on the LA Olympic team, and which was really cool because he was in chiropractic school, and his classmates could come down and watch him play. And then he played in '88, and then in '92, and won medals. And just he's got a ton of hardware that's probably locked up someplace that they don't put those on the walls. But really cool stuff. Then he coached in 2008 and 2012. 2008, the U.S. team was ranked 9th in the world, and they ended up with a silver medal. They were 2nd in the world at the end. They shocked the world, so to speak. Just really cool stuff. But all of that, he's just promoted chiropractic. He comes from a family of 86? No.
86.
86. He graduated in 86, and 86 chiropractors in his family. I mean, I have to tell you, people look at me. I've got my wife, my 3 daughters. They're all married to chiropractors. I got 2 brothers, and they go, "Oh my God, I'm not even close, brother. I'm trying to build a dynasty. You are the dynasty. The Schroeder family. You guys are on the cover of Sports Illustrated, right? I think, correct?
Yeah.
Had a spine.
Yeah. In '88.
Yeah. When was that?
Yeah. Palmer West has a spine that they use for a kind of a prop in the Beta Breakers run. It's a big styrofoam spine, and we had I think we had like 38 chiropractors lined up around the spine for the picture. It was pretty cool.
That was but I thought I saw it, man. I could be hallucinating. I thought I saw it on like on a football field somewhere where they had the whole, this whole kind of lateral view of a spine. But it's just so cool, and I'm just really proud of how you've promoted chiropractic. I know you have students at the college right now, and just what you've done with your career. I mean, it's just been amazing. So let's jump into it, and kind of talk about it. First, let's talk about your family, because obviously, 86 chiropractors, that's a pretty amazing number,
Yeah.
I don't even know. Do you have a number? Are you like number, 72 or something? I don't know how it works in the family,
Yeah, I don't know what my number is exactly, but we have a pretty good group, and we've gotten together for a few reunions, and it's a lot of fun. My grandfather, Frederick Schroeder, was kind of the first in line. My dad's brother married another chiropractor, Rita Molson, who her father was a chiropractor. So there's 2 kind of lines that merge into one, but we now have about 14 nephews and nieces that are chiropractors. So 4th generation chiropractors. So it's pretty cool.
I think I love it. What was it like? Obviously, your dad, if you've heard stories, your dad, I think behind you had showed me earlier, there's a picture of your grandpa and BJ, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and your dad, obviously growing up as a chiro kid, right? Then you as a chiro kid, what was it like in the family,
Yeah, so that was had a huge impact on me as a kid, my brother, my sister. All 3 of us became chiropractors, but his office was actually in our home for many years. And so we would see people, come in that could barely walk sometimes, and they'd go in this little room with my dad, and they'd come out smiling and laughing and standing up straight. And what the heck does dad do? I thought he was a miracle man. So But it's a lifestyle. You grow up that way. I was never vaccinated. I've never taken an aspirin in my life, and I'm super proud to be a chiropractor and what we represent, what we do for people. And but Dad had a huge influence on my life as far as just teaching us, what it means to help people every single day.
Yeah, yeah, really to become a servant, huh?
Yeah.
Tell me about your grandpa. Like, were you close with him at all, or was there any did you have anything with him?
Yeah. So unfortunately, I never got to meet my grandfather. My dad came out from New York. He went to Palmer back in Davenport, Iowa. He came to California looking for a place to settle down. Met my mom in Santa Barbara, and my grandfather apparently fell, broke his hip, and didn't get appropriate care, and kind of passed away kind of early. But yeah, I never got to meet him. Just have seen pictures and heard stories, but unfortunately, never got to meet him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Terry, how did you So okay, so you grew up as a Cairo kid in LA, right? In the LA area.
Yeah.
What was the fascination with water polo? Like, where did that come from?
Yeah, so interesting. I was a swimmer, and I was a pretty good swimmer growing up. Like a 9-year-old kid, I was second in the nation in backstroke. But by the time I was 10, I was burnt out on swimming. I didn't like it anymore. It was no fun. So I quit swimming. I went into baseball, football, some other sports. And when I got into high school, I got introduced to sport water polo. And to me, being in the Olympics was always a big dream. I remember sitting in front of the TV and watching the Olympics in '72 with my dad and saying, I'm going to do that one day. I'm going to be in the Olympics. And come to find out, the water polo was the first Olympic team sport. And, kind of combined the swimming skills that I learned and passing and catching and throwing from football and baseball. So it was kind of just the perfect sport for me. And started in high school and went to Pepperdine on a scholarship. And my second year at Pepperdine, got asked to try out for the Olympic team, and boom, it was happening.
Wow. That's so good.
Yeah.
I have to tell you this in 88, I think it was 88, where the Olympics were in, no, was it 90, 94? When was it in Atlanta?
96.
96. Yeah, I went and I took my daughter. She was probably 6 years old at the time, or no, she was actually 8 years old. Dr. Sid Williams invited me and just gave me a ton of tickets. And he opened up his drawer because he had a clinic in downtown Atlanta, and the U.S. Olympic team wanted to use it as a parking lot. Right, it was right across the Olympic Village. So he just had all these tickets and all this stuff. And one of the tickets that he gave me, and whatever I wanted. I mean, he opened a drawer and it was everything in there. And we were only there for about 5-6 days. So I got water polo. And I got a ton of them. I mean, I saw water polo, and you name it. We went to basketball, but water polo, it was amazing because they had glass on the side of the pool, so you could see everything underneath. Yeah. And I've never seen the clawing, and I mean, it's kind of like what happens in a huddle, I guess. Not a huddle, a football when
scrum. Rugby scrum. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just amazing. They're pulling the bathing suit and hitting people, and it was like, oh my gosh. I mean,
there's a lot that goes on in the water. Yeah, there's a lot that goes on in the water.
Yeah. How I mean, obviously, you've been adjusted all your life. You just said that earlier you haven't taken any medication. You had to have influence on people, on the teams, going through,
Yeah, that's been pretty cool because I think so many of the athletes that I competed with and then the athletes that I coached, obviously, just saw what I was doing, the way of life that I was living, and not taking all the medications and not relying on, this or that, or running to my MD when I had a sniffle. And it was cool to be able to, even when I was playing, and learning, just finishing chiropractic school, being able to adjust people at the Olympic Games. And, when I was coaching, it was really cool because there was one guy that got pretty regular care before the Olympics. And by the time the Olympics were done, our whole team was getting regular care. And it made a big difference. We went from 9th to 2nd. I think chiropractic was a big part of that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so cool. And then you naturally kind of evolved. I mean, man, what were you in? 4 Olympics, right? The 181, of course, you didn't play, but, we're talking about, that's 16 years, right? 4 years apart. And then you went into coaching.
Yeah. I always thought that in my mind, I would be in one Olympic Games. That was my dream, to be in one Olympic Games. And when we boycotted 1980, it was devastating. I was, just depressed, crying. I was, I didn't have purpose for a while. And I kind of slowly got back into it. 9 out of the 11 guys that were on the team in 1980 and our 2 coaches and our manager all said, hey, we're going to do this again. We're going to go back to it. And so 84 was that much more special because we had gone through the boycott. There was some incredible moments, opening ceremonies in 1984, marching into the Coliseum in LA. The USA team's the last team that comes in, and 100,000 people in the stadium chanting USA, USA, USA. I still don't remember walking around the track. I feel like I was floating around the track, just being lifted by that energy. And, all of our teammates had tears going down their cheeks, and just we were so fired up. And then when Rafer Johnson lit the Olympic torch, and he climbed the steps and lit the Olympic torch, it was like a torch went off inside your body, because you realize at that moment that was your time.
Yeah.
This is everything you trained for. This is why you're here. And now, boom, it's on. It's time to compete.
Yeah.
And try to win a gold medal.
It's so interesting because, when you think about sports, we were talking with our daughter yesterday. My whole family is just NCAA madness, but male and female, men's and women's. And we were talking about the other day that when Iowa, I don't know if you're into basketball at all, but Iowa played LSU, and it was a very good game. And it was the most watched basketball game of any game. They had like 2-point-something million that watched that game. And the second game to that was like a New York Knicks game. It's like when you get into an arena like that, like whether it's college, it just keeps spreading. I think we shrink as we go more into like professional sports. It just keeps, and then the Olympics. I mean, all these athletes coming together from all over the world, and it's the impact is just crazy.
It's pretty amazing being in the village, and just, you realize everybody there is for the same reason. They had the dream of being in the Olympics and being one of the best in what they do. And I think that kind of philosophy or idea has stuck with me through life is, hey, I want to be the best I can do every day. And that means in my practice, every adjustment I give, I want it to be the best one possible. But it's really that Olympic spirit that runs deep in me, that, it's just a desire to want to be the best.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen the video, The Aligned Athlete. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
I'm going to send it to you. I've got copies. It's done by a chiropractor up in Dr. Richard up in Oregon. Okay. And it's a whole story about chiropractic and the Olympics, how Leroy Perry was banned from the Olympics, by the U.S. Olympic team. And he ends up going with another country like Trinidad and, whatever it was, Trinidad and Tobago, and outside of his tent at the Olympic Village, I think it was in the 70s, every athlete from all over were just lined up, and I'll get it for you because it's really amazing. And I know that it'll relate to what you did, because, you saw what chiropractic did for your team, obviously.
Yeah. And it is pretty amazing that I think 84 may have been the first Olympics that a chiropractor was officially part of the team. And it was athlete driven all the way. I mean, they used to have 8 orthopedics in the village, and they couldn't do anything because, you can't give them drugs or medication, and nothing that stimulates the system. Certainly if somebody got injured and bad enough, they could help them, but the athletes wanted chiropractors there. And slowly but surely, now I think there's 5 chiropractors on the Olympic staff, and a lot of the teams have their own chiropractors. So it's really cool to see what's happened in that venue in the Olympic Games, and how chiropractic is really such a vital part. And the reality is the athletes know that one little fraction of a second or just a little bit better is going to make the difference between no medal or a gold medal. So it's the athletes all know that, and they're the ones who really brought chiropractic into the Olympic fold.
Yeah. And you know what? And I love that you say that because, it is so true. that that the athletes were much stronger than the Olympic organizers, or whatever you want to call it, USA Olympic, whatever it's called,
Yeah.
the company. Um,
Yeah.
and I think they know it. Now you look and see. I've got a buddy here in Bozeman. I'm sitting in Montana right now. We have a home here,
Yeah.
and he takes care of the U.S. Olympic gymnastics team, women's gymnastics team, the bobsled team, the skeletal team in the wintertime. He's always flying someplace, and it's just so great. And you know what he says? This is really interesting. His name is John Willem, and what John says is, he goes, they just want to get adjusted.
Yeah.
They can get PT or they can get taped by anybody. They want to get adjusted. They want that difference, and they feel that's the difference that they know is going to turn them on.
That's absolutely true, and that's what makes us different. Is we can adjust people with a high level of skill and turn on the power like instantly in the body, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah. So here you are, you got all this Olympic background stuff, and, yet you got a family practice, right? And you're taking care of people. And, and I know that, you and your wife are, you had mentioned to me earlier that you guys are lifelong learners, that kind of thing, right? Let's talk about what is your day like? What's a day in the life of Terry Schroeder? First of all, are you still coaching?
Yeah, still coaching at Pepperdine and still enjoying that. I think it's kind of a opportunity and a responsibility to work with college age athletes. I mean, it's such a cool time to be involved in these kids' lives, and I get to turn them on to chiropractic too. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we got one at the college right now. Was Sean at Pepperdine, or was he somewhere else?
Sean played for me at Pepperdine and did a great job. He was actually the player of the year in our conference in his senior year. So he's a great guy, and I'm happy he's up there at life with you guys.
Yeah. So what's your day like? Talk to us about what a day in the life of Terry Schroeder is like.
Yeah, it's I feel like I'm really blessed. I have a really good balance between seeing patients like today, for example. When we're done here, I'll see patients to 9 to 11:30. Then I've got coaching from 12 to 3, and then I'm back in the office from 3:30 to 6 or so. So I get the best of both worlds. I get to work with patients and see the changes in their lives, and it's so amazing what we do. And you know this, I mean, but our success rate is so high compared to anything else. I mean, if my batting average is 300 in baseball, I'm doing great. But with chiropractic, I mean, there's so few people that really don't do well. So it's pretty incredible. Yeah. When I first started coaching at Pepperdine, I told them that I might do a year or two while I got my practice going. Well, here we are 36 years later, and I'm still coaching because it's such a great balance. I get to, it's a little hectic sometimes during the season. It's a lot, and watching video, and you're trying to get prepared for games and stuff. But I love it. I love it. And I feel like I'm a very blessed person to do what I do.
Yeah, and then you've got a good support system, or you both support each other with Lori and you, right? So if you're not in the practice, she's in the practice.
Yeah, she's here quite a bit. She sees patients, she teaches Pilates, and she keeps me on track. So she's got hands full. No, she's been amazing. I mean, we just celebrated 36 years of marriage, and she's supported me in everything I've ever wanted to do. I certainly couldn't have been an Olympic athlete multiple times without her love and support. And going back into coaching with the team, that was even more hectic than playing, honestly, because as a coach, you're putting in a lot of time outside of practice, preparing for practice, preparing for games. We were practicing sometimes till 10 at night. I'd get home. My life was really getting out of balance. And it was pretty interesting when I stopped playing in 2012. When I stopped coaching in 2012, I realized how really out of balance I'd become, because the Olympics just kind of sucks you in, and it takes that much energy and time. And not that I didn't enjoy it, but I was definitely, high blood pressure, my body fat had gone up, I was pre-diabetic, wasn't working out good, wasn't eating right. So Lori and I had to huddle up, and that's when we actually decided we wanted to name our practice Live in Alignment.
Yeah.
And it's kind of changed the name of our practice because obviously it goes well with chiropractic. We want to live in alignment, spinally, but all aspects of life, from our relationship with my wife and I to um, getting exercise, eating right, all those things got to line up for us to be healthy and enjoy our life together and be able to help more people every day.
Yeah.
So that was a good turning point for us to kind of figure out that we need to make sure we take care of ourselves so we can take care of others too.
I love that you changed the name of your practice. I think it's amazing. It's like, uh, I mean, we grow this history of our practice, our identity, instead of having the identity be the message that we want for ourselves, right? And I love it. I love it. We just talked with my daughter yesterday. My wife and I, we did a Life by Life West with her, and her practice is called Home Within, because
nice.
her whole thing is about going within, and that's kind of her season of where she's at these days, and it's just amazing. It's like I love the name of your practice. It's great. Tell me this. So, you're obviously the Olympic teams. Yeah. I mean, I get that it's like, it's like a cow, being udders just kind of just draining, right? And yet it's a big responsibility, right? And then, but now coaching college, I think you probably can pace it however you want to and do what you want to do. Where's life going next? Like, what do you see in the future? Like, what's going to be happening?
Yeah, so we practice now 36 years, and we feel like we're at a good point in our practice. We're enjoying it every day. My dad had a stroke. He was a chiropractor, and he had a stroke back in early 2000s, and ended up passing away. And I felt like I couldn't really help him as much as I wanted to as a chiropractor. And it was really frustrating watching him go through the medical world and just being, given 6 medications and here's the rest of your life. And he was very frustrated with that too. So Laurie and I have really been motivated to try to learn and grow and see what else we could add to what we're doing. And through just going to different seminars, we ran into a guy named Dr. Robert DiMartino, who practices out in Las Vegas. He's a chiropractor, but he does a lot of functional medicine stuff, and he does it in a very chiropractic philosophy way, where everything we're doing is trying to help the body heal itself.
Yeah.
And I 100% believe that the body was designed to heal itself, and if we give it what it needs, it's gonna do that. So chiropractic is really first in our practice, and that's what everybody is going to get, day one. But we may add some other things to try to build up their systems. And so we're learning, growing. We're excited about where we're at. We hope to be practicing for another, I don't know, I'm not going to put a number on it, maybe 10, 15, 20 years. I always remember the story.
It's a hard thing to step away from, isn't it?
It is. It is really hard. I always remember a story that I read. I think it was in one of the Palmer journals, but it was about 2 brothers who practiced together. And I think one of them was 93 and one of them was 91 or something. And, they were giving each other trouble. You're the old guy, you gotta go first. But I thought that was really cool. But maybe cut down a little time and make sure we're taking care of ourselves if we do it. But I'd love to keep practicing it for a long, long time.
Yeah. I had Roy Sweat. I don't know that name, from Atlas Orthogonal. Roy was on the show, and man, he was 94 years old, and still going in the office, 2 days a week, Sundays he was practicing, and I mean, just like, it's like, we don't have to do this, but we love to do it, and it's like this gift that it's very, I don't know. I think we're on the same alignment that, it's the most rewarding profession in the world that to be able to serve people and give people,
Yeah, I think, one of the things that happened after I stopped playing with the Olympic team, I mean, it really is such a single focus and so much goes into it. When I stopped playing, I had probably a typical crash and burn that a lot of Olympic athletes have, where I just had trouble finding purpose. And I was a chiropractor. I was married to a beautiful woman, and, we were talking about family, but I really was struggling. And I think I came to the realization that I was able to win 2 silver medals in '84 and '88 and coach for a silver medal. But what I came to realization was that chiropractic is my gold medal.
Yeah.
And, that's every day I get to practice and win another gold medal. So it's pretty cool.
I love it. I love it, man. That's so great. That's so great. Terry, thank you, man. Thank you for, it's just, first of all, it's wonderful to connect. And thanks for, all you've done, in chiropractic, right? And I know that everything you did in the Olympics was just an extension of sharing chiropractic, it's just thanks for being you and for being part of the 86 or whatever it is that are there, for all you've given to the country, because you've definitely sacrificed a lot for the country. Probably Lori sacrificed more. True. So thank you both. But mostly, just for loving what we all love and practicing, just as fulfilled today as, going back, 20 years ago. It's like, it's just there. So, man, I'm really blessed to have this time with you. And I know that our viewers are going to love it. So thank you, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I will get you that aligned athlete. I have it. I'm going to write it down right now. I have them on DVD. I don't, you have a DVD player? You probably do. I still do. But no one else in the world below us does. But I will have that mailed out to you. But and then last thing. There's a statue over in L.A. I had to bring it up. There's a statue over in L.A. Right? That commemorates the Olympics, right? The time of the '84 Olympics, right?
Yep.
Who's that statue of? Some guy, some chiropractor, I heard.
Yeah, I was in chiropractic school and got contacted by this gal. Said, "Hey, we want to see if you want interested in posing for this statue." And they had her send me information, and I thought it was my teammates pulling some kind of prank on me. But as I found out more and more, it's a guy named Robert Graham, who was a very famous sculptor, and he was commissioned to design this gateway, a male and a female athlete. Headless statue. It's 9 feet tall, and it's nude. It's naked. So I ended up doing it, and Lori kind of pushed me to do it and said, "You'll be proud of this one day." But my kids have gone there, and it's still there outside the Coliseum. And now I've got to hire friends to go down there and clean bird crap off the shoulders and stuff.
Exactly.
Keep that thing looking good.
Exactly.
It's a motivating factor to keep myself in shape. I can't be some big fat guy walking around saying that was me one day. No one will believe it.
There you go. Great motivation. Who was the female?
She was a gal who competed for the U.S. in '84, but Jamaica in '88. And Jennifer Innes was her name. It was supposed to be a headless statue that represented, just an athlete. So there was a guy named Robert Helmick who worked for USOC, who was also a water polo guy, and he kind of leaked my name. So the sculptor got really upset with me for a while. It was like during the '84 Olympics, it was kind of a big deal, that was going around, that who's this guy that was a statue. But
I love it. I love it.
It was
man.
kind of wild.
So cool. That's so cool. Well, there we are again, man, constantly promoting, right? And doing that. Terry, thank you, man. Thank you so much. I will get you that video. I'll get you that DVD. We call them videos, but I'll get you that DVD. And probably no one else knows what the DVD is, but I'll get you that. And thanks for being with us today. And to our viewers, thank you. Thanks for coming back week after week. We drop these Life West leadership lines every other week. The opposite weeks is our Life by Life West. People watch them all, but mostly, they share them, and that's what's so cool. Our viewership is really, really taken off, and it's really because you're sharing it with other people. So thank you, and that means a lot. It means a lot to the profession. It means a lot. Everyone can get something. What I got from Terry today was just balance. Making sure we're in balance, and it's easy to get out of balance, and plus the history of what's there. So thank you for all that you do. Keep loving those people around you. Terry, again, thank you for being with us today, and just keep loving everybody and sharing chiropractic and being your, who you are, your true self, and bringing that out in what you do. Good. So until we see you again, Dr. Terry and I are going to bid you adieu, and I'll catch you at the next time, either at a Life West Leadership Line or a Life by Life West. See you later.